Hi, you're watching West Bloomfield 911. I'm your host, Tim Shepard, and on behalf of Chief Michael Patton and my brothers and sisters in blue, I'd like to welcome you all to the show. Joining me today is Curt Lawson. Curt is the Deputy Chief of Police in West Bloomfield and also serves as the chairperson for West Bloomfield Youth Assistance. First of all, thank you very much for taking the time today to come in.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking me.
My pleasure. And the viewers may or may not know that this is my boss, so today will be on my best behavior. And again, thank you. So we're going to start out with you personally and how you became an officer.
Sure.
And what your decisions were in becoming an officer. So as far as your law enforcement career, when did you start?
Well, I started my law enforcement career back in 1994, but the whole idea behind being in law enforcement actually started probably at the age of 7 or 8. And I was very intrigued with the FBI. And I'm not sure if that was because of a movie I watched or a TV show, but I really liked the way that the FBI agents, they conducted themselves, the way they dressed, that level of professionalism. And from a very early age, I wanted to be a part of that. So around the age of 10 or 11, I kind of set myself on a path of what I thought would get me to being in the FBI, and that was, staying out of trouble in high school and college and getting good grades. Okay. So made it through high school, made it through college, and accomplished those things, and I wanted to get some experience. So in 1994, I joined the West Bloomfield Police Department as a cadet. And then about 8 months later, I became a police officer. I thought, I'm going to stay 3 years, get some experience, and I'm going to move on to the FBI. And of course, as you know, 3 years goes like that.
Sure.
And it's time to make a decision. Do you jump ship and go to the FBI or another federal agency, or do you stay in the community where you spent the last 3 years? And I just love the police department. I love the community. And I made the decision that I was going to stay on. And now 24 years later, I'm still here and I'm still loving it.
So 24 years is a good career, a good long career. Throughout the career, obviously, there's different levels that you reach. There's patrol officer, detective, there's sergeant, lieutenant, obviously then there's the command staff where you're at now. And you went through all those ranks, obviously. So,
I did, yes.
Okay, and you became a sergeant. Were you in the detective bureau as well?
So I was very fortunate. I wanted to be as well-rounded as I could be as a police officer. So, start off as a patrol officer. I worked all 3 shifts, and then I was moved to the detective bureau. And then I got the opportunity to join a task force, which was called Sonic. It was a major crimes task force down in Farmington Hills. And I actually spent 5 years down in that unit, and I was promoted to sergeant, did some supervision down there. Came back, was back on patrol for a while, and then was promoted to lieutenant, where I spent some time up in administration, spent some time in the investigations division. I also ran our special response team. So pretty well-rounded career. But I think that's really important as you move up, that you experience all those things and you get that knowledge.
Absolutely. As far as deputy chief, so in our department, the viewers may or may not know that we have a chief of police, which is Michael Patton, and then our second command is yourself. What are the responsibilities of deputy chief?
Well, there's quite a few responsibilities. My number one responsibility is oversight of the 3 divisions. So we have administration, patrol, and investigations. And for me, really, this isn't really a heavy lift because I have a great command staff. I have 3 great lieutenants. I have a bunch of sergeants that just do outstanding work. And they really do take care of the day-to-day business of the police department. Okay. I spend a great deal of time each day going around talking to people, trying to keep a pulse on what's going on, making sure that they understand our vision, where we want to go. The second thing that I do is a lot of community outreach. I enjoy going out into the community, talking to our business owners, our residents. And then my third job, which it can be the most challenging, is I'm a liaison public information officer with the media. Okay. So I handle all of our media relations within the police department as well as all our social media.
Okay. So you have a lot of responsibilities, obviously. In terms of those responsibilities with, I know you're married, and how do you balance the responsibilities of being high in the department and a family life?
Well, fortunately, I like to stay busy.
Okay.
So with my professional life, it certainly is busy, and my family life is busy, but it's all about balance.
Okay.
And I have a 15-year-old daughter
Okay.
and a 13-year-old daughter, and that time with them is not infinite. So I understand that I need to spend a great deal of time with them. It's important, and certainly my wife is very supportive, and I don't take that for granted. So I definitely prioritize, and number one in my life is obviously my family. So it's just about a balancing act, and so far it's worked okay.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I'm married and have children as well, so I understand the balance and the difficulties and the challenges. And the community, I think sometimes doesn't understand that there is that, excuse me, difficult balance. And for us as officers, excuse me, I apologize, that balance has to be balanced. We have to make sure our families are happy, and then we're doing a good job. And as far as the department and the growth of the department, where the department's going, how do you feel where we're at now, and where do you want to go in the future?
Well, as we went into the recession, things were difficult for us. Things were difficult for law enforcement agencies across the country. Many agencies, they laid off a lot of people. We were very fortunate. We didn't lay off a lot of people, but we had a lot of retirements. And as we moved through that recession, it was difficult times. People were, the morale was not great. But what we did was we hired some really great people, some young people that came into our department that brought renewed energy and focus, and they totally bought into what we were trying to tell them what was important, and that is like the professionalism, a certain level of customer service, problem solving in the community. And really, these new officers have really helped rise the entire department up, and to morale is great right now. It's really good, and we're really on the right path to where we want to go down the road.
Excellent. And speaking of new officers, when you're looking at people, and could be for young people who are looking to get into law enforcement, as command staff, what are some of the qualities that you look for in new officers that you want to bring into this community?
Sure. Well, first of all, it's been very difficult to attract good people to law enforcement, especially over the past few years. And I think there's several factors for that. In the national spotlight, we've not been doing very well, as you probably know. And also, in past, salary, benefits, pensions were a big part of why people got into law enforcement. It was a very secure job for people to have, and those things have changed. But we have been kind of not the norm here in West Bloomfield. We have a very supportive community. They pay a lot of taxes for us. We have good benefits, good salary. So we still attract a very high quality product, and we are looking for that top 1% of people to come to work here, and we're never going to take anything less than that. So if we have to work shorthanded, we will, but we're going to find the best people to work here in West Bloomfield.
Excellent. And I think the community appreciates that, and I do know that we are, as a police department, well supported in this community. And speaking of community and community organizations, after this break, we're going to talk more about the organizations you're involved with.
Sounds great.
Okay, we're going to take a short break. We'll return shortly with more West Bloomfield 911.
You're watching West Bloomfield 911 on Civic Center TV, a service of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission. For more information or to watch episodes on demand, visit civiccentertv.com/WB911. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
The West Bloomfield Police Foundation raises money to help those who protect and serve the community. Whether it's emotional or financial support, the foundation provides a helping hand to officers, their families, and those in the community. For more information on the West Bloomfield Police Foundation, contact Curt Lawson at 248-975-8900 or visit wbpolicefoundation.org.
Welcome back to West Bloomfield 911. I'm your host, Tim Shepard. Again, I'm here with Deputy Chief of Police of West Bloomfield Police Department, Curt Lawson. Thanks again for being here.
You're welcome.
And we're going to jump right back into it with more talk about the community and about what you do in the community. I know that I personally know this because we work together, but I'd like the audience to know some of the organizations that you're with. Can you talk a little bit initially about maybe youth assistance and go into some other organizations that you deal with?
Sure. Well, first I'll say that I recognized pretty early in my career that you're not going to be successful at this job unless you partner with the community. So when I had the opportunity as a lieutenant back in 2008, I wanted to start joining some groups within West Bloomfield that and I could meet new people, people that are very interested in the community and helping the community. So in 2008, I actually joined West Bloomfield Optimist Club and the West Bloomfield Police Foundation, which does a lot of outreach within the community. And then in 2012, I joined the Greater West Bloomfield Coalition, and then in 2014, I joined West Bloomfield Youth Assistance. And what's so great about being a part of these organizations is that the individuals that are a part of those organizations are all in it for the right reasons. They're in it to help people, and in most of the cases to help children within the community. And I wanted to be a part of that. And then also they get to know me, and they get to know that you know, it's kind of like humanizing the badge.
Sure.
And you know, I tell them, like, hey, officers, all the officers are like me. You know, that we're people. We want to go out in the community. We want to solve problems, and that's why we're here. And we get all these great contacts, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. And again, the groups that you're involved with now, obviously the community in general, so you deal with the citizens, businesses, nonprofits, schools, but specifically like the Optimist Club. What is the Optimist Club, just to start with? And you can be really brief. I just want to tell me.
Sure. West Bloomfield Optimists, you know, their main focus is helping kids within the community. And that's the same for the Community Coalition, which is a prevention group. They teach parents and kids about you know, staying away from alcohol, drugs, you know, some of the big things like opioid addiction right now. So they're out there prevention. Youth assistance is more within our school districts. We have caseworker that helps kids, you know, get back on track. We have a mentoring program. We have a great program right here on Civic Center TV called Parenting on the Go. So all of these different groups are really focused on kids, and they help in different ways.
I think that's wonderful. And I know that there's a lot of charity events, and I think that one charity event that you had a big factor in was the food truck rally.
Right.
And can you just tell me about the food truck rally, what that was, and if it was successful?
Sure. So that was part of West Bloomfield Youth Assistance, and we had never really done a big fundraiser. And even though we're funded relatively nicely, we wanted to do more. We wanted to expand our programs, and you know, we partner with people like Belfour and other business leaders within the community, and we said, we're going to put on this amazing food truck rally. We're going to bring in 14 food trucks. We're going to bring in a stage. We're going to have kids activities, and we're going to have business vendors. And you know, we kind of put all of our cards on the table. And you know, what happened was our first event, we had over 5,000 people.
That's amazing.
So it was a huge success. And we want to, you know, keep expanding on that. And what was great about that is not only did we make money, but we also let people know what youth assistance is all about.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think that's the thing when it comes to any of these kind of organizations, is that a lot of times the community in general may not know what they are or how they can help. So from your perspective, how can citizens keep in contact with what's going on with the police department, what's going on with these nonprofit organizations and charities? Is there some way that they can?
Sure. So obviously their websites, each organization, including the police department, obviously has a website, but all of those organizations are on social media. And you know, they push out information on what activities they're doing, what they do, what their mission statements are. So people can find out a lot of information just by going on social media or going to the websites and how they can be involved.
That's perfect. And as far as social media, what do you feel the relevance of social media is in police work today? Is there a connection? Do we use social media in the police department? Is it a factor?
We certainly recognize very early the importance of social media. Certainly you can go on the TV media, or I can go in the newspaper and get information out. But if you want to get information out very quickly and to a very wide, diverse audience, social media is the key. And we use many different platforms, and it depends on what your message is, whether it's a word message or pictures. But you know, you just pick what platform you want to use. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter. You know, Facebook tends to reach an older crowd, Twitter a younger crowd. We use Snapchat for more pictures. So we've been very successful at that. I help run that with one of my sergeants, Sergeant Sage, and he does a phenomenal job. And you know, we can go out and reach the entire township. We just did a post recently of actually three coyotes in the back of our parking lot. We had 150,000 people look at that post. So it's a very effective tool for us.
Yeah, I mean, that shows you when you have, regardless if it's related directly to the police department or something interesting, like wolves in the area, which I think is amazing to see, just the reach that it can have and the potential for the community to be reached by us. So with the police department, as far as there's a philosophy of community policing, what, in your opinion, is the importance of community policing? What is community policing?
Well, it's essential.
Okay.
There are police departments in this country that have an us versus them mentality. It's wrong. It's not effective. They're never going to be successful. You have to partner with your community. You have to work with them to solve problems within the community. That's what I tell our young people all the time. You know, we're going to have customer service. We're going to have partnership with our community, and we're going to be professional. That's our brand. That's what we do. And it's just so important that we work side by side with the people that are basically paying our salary.
Sure.
And people don't like to hear that if they're a police officer or a fireman. Like, they pay our salary, but they do.
Right.
And we have to remember that they have certain expectations, and we need to meet those expectations and exceed those expectations many times.
I agree, and you know, one of my decisions for coming to this department was the connection to the community. I feel like the West Bloomfield Police Department, first of all, we're appreciated, which is,
Yes.
None of us asked for that when we signed up for this, and I'm speaking for you as well right now, and I hope that's okay, but I feel like you didn't get into this for thank yous, but when the community actually appreciates what you're doing, I feel like that's more incentive for us to have that connection with them. And it's imperative that as a police department we work together. So again, my decisions when I was looking for a police department was the connection to the community, and I feel like this is one of the communities that is kind of rare these days. I think it's going more in that direction, but it was a profound decision maker for me to become a police officer in this department because of that connection. So again, for the youth today, and I know that we struggle with the youth and them wanting to go into police work, what are some things that they can do to prepare themselves or make a decision to go into police? Is there something you can give advice?
Well, I think my advice was make sure you're getting into police work for the right reasons. And that is, you know, you want to go out there and you want to help people. It's not all about, you know, going out there and making arrests and writing tickets. You do those things to solve problems, not just to go out and just do them for
Sure.
some statistic. And we certainly would never do something like that for some sort of income for the police department, right? So we want to look for people that are in it for the right reasons, that believe in our philosophies. Okay. And you know, if you go to school and you work hard and get good grades, and you're willing to train, and you're willing to stay out of trouble, we'll certainly look at you, and we'd love to have you as part of our team.
That's excellent. And as Deputy Chief of Police of West Bloomfield, is there something that you would like to say to the community before I wrap it up today?
Well, we certainly recognize the community support, like you touched on, and I think that's, in a lot of ways deserved. I think we've worked very hard over a period of 20-some years to gain that capital that we have, but we also know that it's very fragile. And that trust can be broken very quickly. So we're going to remain very transparent. We're going to keep our professional level very, very high, and our demands on our officers high, and we're not going to let our community down.
Absolutely. Deputy Chief Lawson, thank you very much for coming in today. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And I'd like to thank you for joining us for this episode of West Bloomfield 911. You can keep up with the police department by liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter and Instagram. You can also sign up for Nixle.com, crimemapping.com for the most up-to-date information from the police department. Thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.